Was my expectations of it.
Sorry.
Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Simon of Savage Reads and today I'm joined not only by Pip but also Satah Schmidt.
Ooh, hello.
And we're doing a crime time, as Sarah called it.
Halftime, crime time.
Yes, because we're all
Love it.
reading this. Oh, we've got another copy.
two.
Which is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, or as it is in America, The 7.5 Deaths
Ooh.
of Evelyn
Is that
Hardcastle.
telling of the story, maybe?
I don't know.
I don't know.
None of us have quite finished it yet.
No.
So, we thought it'd be really interesting to talk about expectations of books, where we're at with it, and sort of how we're getting on in the middle of a book. And then in a few weeks' time, me and Pip will come back and talk about what we thought of it overall.
Yeah.
And maybe I will send through my thoughts.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, you could,
actually,
like,
you
Skype
could.
in.
Well, no, you could film it, and I can put a video in video.
Technology these days.
That is what we need to do.
This is all about. Well, it's quite a tricky one to describe because the blurb. You don't know some of the stuff on the blurb, even on page 120 something that I'm on. But a man wakes up, and he's in the middle of running and shouting the name Anna.
Yeah.
And he's obviously Anna's being chased by somebody. He thinks he witnesses a murder, goes back to his house, but he's not sure who he is, and suddenly realises he has no idea who he is. He has amnesia, or so he thinks. But then the next day he wakes up in someone else's body. There are lots of other stuff that happens in between that. But you realise, or he realises, and then is told by a man dressed in a plague outfit that he has to stop the death of Evelyn Hardcastle. So he basically wakes up as a different person in this house on the day that Evelyn is going to be killed.
And he's trying to find the murderer.
Yeah.
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 And
He has to find the
it's
murderer.
7 or 8 attempts that he has and then that's over.
Shall we go through how we're all feeling about it
Yes.
so far?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
I am enjoying it. There are some issues that I have with it so far that I think from what I've gathered from you, because we did talk about it a little bit. My issue at the moment is I don't understand why this person, who I still don't know who this person is, even though on the back it says Aidan Bishop, why they are having to relive multiple lives in order to stop Evelyn dying. I feel like I don't know the reasoning.
I still don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you're on what?
I'm halfway through. I think I'm on like page, I don't know, 200 and something.
Pip knows the percentage.
Yeah, I'm on 54%.
Because she's reading it on a Kindle, not because she's like that.
With a calculator. I have got past the point where we find out that he's Aidan Bell,
Right.
but not much more than that, other than he now knows who he is, but not why he's doing what he's doing. Yeah,
I don't have a
still
reason
feel
yet.
A little bit like that
I
as well.
need a reason.
I can't quite remember where I am. Where am I? What page? I'm definitely
You're in Liverpool.
I'm at least 100 and something pages in, so I've
Okay.
given it a crack. Actually, it doesn't really bother me that we don't know the reason why this person has to keep, I guess, I was going to say rejuvenating, but regenerating into all these people. That doesn't actually quite bother me because I'm quite happy to kind of go along and explore that reason. What bothers me and what is actually making it quite difficult for me to kind of go into is I'm just not connecting with the book at all. I can't connect to a character or the situation.
Well, also you skip characters so much.
Yes,
That's
you
the
do.
thing.
And
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to this part where you start to meet him as other characters.
I think
And that's
yes.
quite
Yeah,
confusing
that's
because
really
suddenly you're like, well, hang on a
confusing.
minute. And also, if he does not end up in the body of a woman at some point, I'm going to get really angry.
That would be shit.
I was finding it slightly confusing. Not confusing, a bit challenging, but in an interesting, entertaining way. Skipping bodies, but then you skip bodies between bodies and you have to remember who is the body on day 2 and who is
Yeah,
the
I
body on
think-
day... And I'm like,
Trying to remember who the characters are and what their story is when he keeps swapping and changing is quite difficult.
It's becoming harder for me to be able to keep track of things because I'm not really caring about who I'm jumping in and out of. And I think I'm so connected to characters are so important to me, and I will go anywhere with the character as long as I can feel this thing and I don't feel anything, and I don't feel that even some of the characters, and maybe this will, if we keep going along, we will get more of defined characters and stuff, but I feel like that is just really holding me back because I don't feel like they're real people. And the book very much feels to me at this time of reading very much like a video game, which isn't necessarily maybe a bad thing, but I think I need a little bit more to get me through this because sometimes premise isn't enough.
Yeah, I think, like, as I say, I'm obviously a little bit further along, and even halfway through, we still don't know anything about Aidan Bell.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if we had a little bit more of a backstory on who he actually is and his story, maybe.
Because also too, it's a really genuine, like the premise itself, it's genuinely fascinating, and the idea that this Aidan Bell has to keep doing it, it makes me think about, okay, so who is he? why does he have to keep doing it? Is it going to turn out theory that he's the one who kills her?
Well, I had a theory
yeah.
because
That stuff.
I think that Sebastian Bell might be the murderer. So that's my guess, and this will be interesting to see what we do, because we can do spoilers in the
Yeah.
other one. But I was reading it and thinking, well, and that would almost be too easy for it to be the first person you meet. But yeah, there's
Yeah.
just something about it. But then I was thinking, is he actually in limbo? Like, is this all going to be dead people and it's how you get to heaven?
Like
or
purgatory?
I went properly deep on it the other day.
It's
for
good to
about
go
10
deep.
minutes.
I think the other thing that's kind of interesting too, though, and one thing I do kind of like about it, because when I started reading it, I did like this idea that it feels like you're in Gosford Park.
Yes, that's what I think as well.
Which is
I think,
great.
yeah.
So actually, and one thing I'm saying, like, I'm not connecting with the characters and therefore I'm not really caring about the book, but yet there's this other thing, the setting, it's fun. Yeah, Gosford Park meets Inception, and it's fun.
And I
That's
really
fun.
like that, and that's the thing. I feel a bit like I may have been a bit like, well, I'm just a bit cross that there's not there, and it isn't that, because I do really want to read it and read
Yeah.
on and finish it, but I think I'm just having that bit at the moment where, and also, and this is not a dig,
Oh, say it.
no, because I don't feel like I've had enough time with this.
Yeah.
Because we've been having such a good time, because we're in the real world.
Yes.
I have a thing where if I don't get through a book in 5 days max, I start to be a bit like, and that's not me. Sorry, that's not the book, that is me. That's my reading habits. But you were saying the other day to me that you were halfway, and the fact that you were only halfway was frustrating you a little bit.
I feel like the book's been going on for so long, and that the fact that I'm only halfway, I'm like, wow, I've still got like another whole half of the book to go.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit like, I can't really see where it's going either.
This is Crime Time. It's about a murder of a woman. And so partly too, because we're getting to the thing and I'm like, okay, a woman is being murdered. And so I'm like, why? What is the author trying to demonstrate through the death of this murder? Because sometimes you can read, I do like reading crime. I don't read it all the time. And there's different reasons why I don't read crime all the time. Because sometimes I think if you're going to use the death of a body, or you've got a dead body, and particularly if it's a woman's, I don't know, sometimes it can feel a bit icky of using that motif as fuel for just pure entertainment. And
Well,
so there's nothing wrong with that. I just would like to know, why are we doing this?
Well, I think it's partly because of the brother. Because we know that the brother's already
so
dead,
we've
and
got
there's a
that
little
bit
bit
of
of blame
backstory,
towards
Yeah,
Evelyn
but
for
I mean,
that.
like, philosophically,
Oh, okay, sorry,
in
sorry,
the
sorry.
thing is that, you know, if we don't, like, if we're feeling like this and we've only come 100 and so pages in and we're not connecting, well, I'm personally not connecting with characters and stuff, there's a little bit of something inside me going, there better be a very good reason, philosophically or whatever, that there is this murder, and that we're going to go into something a bit more, and it's not just going to be for purely entertainment. I'm already 100 and something pages in and I'm just feeling this sinking feeling that I'm like, oh no, is it going to be one of those books? But I could be completely wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong.
I think the thing is, it is one of those books where when I read it, I am going through it really, really quickly.
Yes, it's easy to read.
Yeah.
It's quite an easy read.
And the other day at work, it was a real sign of it, because on my lunch break sometimes I'll go and sneak and read in the Picton room at the library, and my lunch break went like that. Also, part of me is thinking, why does it need to be 7 characters? Why does it need to be 8 characters?
I was just going to say, is that why
does
we're
it
struggling
need
to
be-
connect me, because there's so many of them.
That could be it. And it's tricky because, as well, as you know, Sarah,
Yes.
it's really tricky if you don't connect and characters alternate, and if you're not connecting with them all equally, which you do in your book. How hard is that to pay off? And do you spot that when you're
writing it?
but also when you're reading other people's books? But I suppose you read as a reader like any other reader would.
Yeah, I do and I don't. I find it really difficult to read just purely as a reader, because I don't know, I mean, I can do it, but for a really long time I'm always constantly looking for the technical aspects and all that stuff. And I think sometimes when I've been reading this book, I'll catch myself like reading, and then I'll read along, and then there's this other part of my brain that's kind of seeping out, and I'm starting to go, okay, what are you doing? And I think that's why it's taken me away from connecting with the characters a little bit. If they were more engaging, I would probably try to get that. But there is, I guess I keep coming back to, what is the purpose of this? What are you then trying to draw out? Because I think, like, it's all fine to have violence. You can use violence and death for a whole bunch of things, but I think there needs to be a reason for it rather than just
Gratuitous.
yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I'm poo-pooing everything that doesn't have a thing, but I don't know. You do become aware that if you want to take someone to a very dark place and kind of do it, then you need to, a reader, I feel anyway, needs to trust you enough that, okay, you're in safe hands. We're going to see a whole bunch of horrible things. We're going to be dealing with really horrible people. But I want you to feel something at the same time. And you might see yourself in one of these characters or whatever like that. And so I'm prepared to go anywhere and to almost experience anything as long as I feel like I've got something invested in it. And just at the moment, I don't feel that.
It also is what you expect out of it. I will say I was expecting more character depth because, but then at the same time you are also one character the whole way through. Really, they're just in the body of a lot of the characters, so they're not.
Snapshots, aren't you? Of small. Because as you say, you don't stay with one character and then move to the next and then move to the next. It jumps between
about.
them. So.
Oh shit! I've had a thought. I'm having this thought. And I don't know if this is a thing and stuff, but like, do these people actually exist? Are these parts of his personality? And that the only way that he can deal with the fact that he himself has actually murdered Evelyn is to go, no, I didn't do this. This other part of me have done it. Is
got,
this what's happening? Is it what's happening? Not even that. Just like how sometimes, oh wow, maybe this is what's happening. Now I'm invested. What if it is this idea that, like how sometimes people go...
It's like that film Shutter Island.
Yes.
Yes.
Like it's not, I didn't do this other person did.
By the way, this might not be the case.
Just
in case you've not read it yet.
It's a book.
And can I also say, if you have read it and you know the spoilers, please don't put them in the comments below yet. Do it in the one when we actually talk about the spoilers. Sorry.
As you were saying this, you get little bits of characters. I'm like, but wait, maybe.
But they are all his personality. That's what's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's all his... Because even though he reacts really interestingly when he's in is it day 4 that he's the big sweaty man? And Evelyn's being like, oh, I don't like you. But he's mystified by that because he's still being him. Yeah,
so he's got like elements of the character of the person that he's in, but he's also got his own personality, hasn't he? Cause
do you know what bit really creeped me out? There's a bit where Sebastian Bell creeps through a room, and this is where I was like, please, how can we have more of the dark bits?
Yes.
Because at the moment it's not quite jolly hockey sticks, which I also enjoy very much in the book, because that is really Agatha Christie, come on, let's solve a murder. I don't know what accent that was. Talking about expectations, I was excited by the premise and the plot and everything, but then when I started to see this, I started to get nervous. Because anytime I've got a map...
Oh, yes,
I saw that. Anytime I've got a list of characters... Sorry, Pip. List of characters. You not got that in yours?
Well, I'm reading it on my Kindle.
Oh, well, that would be the reason. But when I saw that, I was a bit like, uh-oh. Because if there's a family tree, a map, or it's a character, I always think... This is going to really, really confuse me.
Yeah. Although, not always the case.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy in my head because I automatically... I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to manage that.
Too many. 100 Years of Solitude has that kind of thing going on too. And it's not too...
Me either.
I also think my expectation went higher when it won its category in the Costas. I was a bit like, oh, this is going to have to be really, really good then. Especially now it's going up against normal people. Pip.
Yes?
Those are my expectations of it. What were yours?
Well, in all honesty, I'd not heard much about it until you suggested that we read it. And then it seems that since we suggested we read it, it's been everywhere.
You think it's us?
So I think we've made it blow up.
Actually, it's partly Sarah's fault that we chose to read this as well. Because when we read See What I've Done, it was quite a different kind of crime novel for Pip. Even though it is a crime novel and it's not a crime novel, it's all sorts of different things. Yeah. So it made me think, ooh, if Pip really enjoyed that, we can go off and do some because it's normally procedurals that we kind of read as well, and normally they're quite current. Yeah. Sarah, what were your expectations of it?
None. I had none. No, I didn't have any expectations at all until I started reading it, and then I had no idea what it was about either. And then once I sort of started figuring out, oh, this is going on, then that's when I started having the expectations that I've now kind of set for myself. But now I'm kind of mad at myself for having expectations because, well, you can have expectations from a book and all that stuff, but I think, you know how sometimes you'll read a review or something and go, oh, this is what I wasn't expecting. Part of me goes, well, that's not the book's fault. No. We bring a whole bunch of things to it based on either hype or what we've heard about and all that kind of stuff. So I think, I don't know, I think it's one of those things where I'm glad I didn't know much about it.
Yeah.
I did go and read a little review, just because I thought,
I can't read reviews before I finish
No.
a book.
I know,
Can't.
normally never do, but I had to because I started thinking, because I started reading it before I came to the UK, and because I wasn't connecting with it, I thought, am I the only, because then I found out it was nominated for all these things and it was huge, and I'm like, am I the only one who doesn't like this book so far? And then it turns out I think I might be.
Not actually, and that's
Really?
because the lovely Jacqueline at 6 Minutes for Me, she started reading it, wasn't it? She's also Australian, living in Austin,
so
Texas
sad.
now. Yeah, she was starting it and she was asking on Instagram, like, should I carry on with this book because
Yeah.
I'm not getting it? And the overwhelming reaction was yes, and then when she finished she was like, oh my god, that's one of my favourite books of the
I'm
year.
hoping that's what's going to happen.
Ooh. The short answer is no expectations. Now I've got them.
And
Especially now that you've had that
Now
moment.
that you've suggested this to ending.
I think I may be a genius.
If that's not the ending, then that
I've just
could
come
well
up
be
with
a
a
better
brand new
ending than what
Who
it is.
knows?
But also, you've then told everyone what your next book's going to be because that's what it's going to have to be.
I actually have a few ideas in my head.
Good.
Okay. Just so.
They're happening right now.
Right now. I think we should each predict what the ending is going to be.
What?
I think it's going to be that it's Sebastian Bell, although I love your version of events where it's actually all bits of his brain.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think did it?
Well, I had this weird theory that it was Aiden that did it. So
But he's now...
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So like Aiden as whoever Aiden is. But I'm not quite sure how that would work in terms of why he's then reliving it through other people's.
I also don't understand who the blinking hell this plague doctor's going to be.
Yeah.
And the footman.
I don't like it. It's creepy.
And your prediction then is...
Is that what I said? And then I thought, oh, is it going to be the case where he does save the woman and she doesn't die?
What if it's Evelyn? What if she's committing suicide?
Well, that thought has occurred to me as well. And
Oh,
then,
sorry, all my basic ideas have already been off by Sarah.
Basic.
Have either of you got to the bit where you do see the first?
No, I haven't got to the first death yet.
Oh, okay. Right.
Oh. Those are our thoughts on the book so far. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. You're lovely. I don't know. It's been fun. It's nice. This is a great discussion.
It is. And me and Pippa will be back in a few weeks when we will talk about what did happen. And if Sarah can do it, we will get her thoughts and insert them into the video. We'll speak to you very soon. It's bye from me.
Bye.
And bye from me. Bye.
Bye. Actually, we do look like we're on a roller coaster ride a little bit. Anyway, sorry.